Hi everyone, it's Roger here from What's on DisneyPlus.com. It's this week's Q&A video. Sorry, I'm a couple of minutes late. Suddenly at the last second we had a little technical issue on the live stream, so I just had to quickly change something. But welcome to this week's Q&A. So all of this week's questions have come from patrons and also YouTube channel members. You can become a member from as little as $2 a month. And we've got some people here in the chat, and so they are members. So a big hello to the Random Movie Fan. We've also got Yusuf and also Johnny T. So hello to all of you. So we've got quite a few questions I'm going to go through, but I kind of wanted to do a question that came up that actually isn't from patrons or YouTube channel members first, and that is because I've seen so many comments, probably 100, 200 plus comments across all the social medias about Hulu and Star, about what the difference is, why, because Star's obviously launched this past week all over the world in 17 different countries except for the United States, and a lot of people have been comparing it to Hulu, kind of the idea of having adults content and stuff like that. So I'm just going to bring up here the browser that I've brought up just so you can all just see sort of what's going on here with this one here. I'm trying to remember which one we're using, and yep, so here we go. So we've now got Disney Plus up. Now I wanted to show this off because a lot of people tend to think of, well, it's like Hulu. And as you can see here, we've got the 6 brands. We've got the 6 brands here going. And we've got Star. And in here, we have a load of movies. We have TV series. And they're all pretty much like it is in Disney Plus. There's no real difference. It's just the shows turn up. Family Guy, Futurama, etc. so on. And we have all these movies. If we go on the homepage, it's identical. It's just now we have just got more choice. We just have a lot more choice. As you can see here, we can see what comedy series, animated, the drama series, what's trending. You can see here it's all completely mixed up with what's trending, with Family Guy and Solar Opposites and Deadpool in there, kind of mixing it up. And that is kind of how wanted to sort of show it off, because Hulu has live television, so you can watch live TV on it. And we've also got the idea of, this whole thing of, adverts. We don't have the adverts, we don't have the tiered system. There's no third-party content, so there's no content from Comcast, nothing from WWE, so you can't watch SmackDown. There's no other networks or anything on there. There's no add-ons. There's no, you can watch HBO Max. It's nothing like that. It's just Disney Plus with more mature content. And it keeps getting thrown around of it's like Hulu, it's like Hulu. It's so far removed from what Hulu is. Hopefully at some point in the future, Disney Plus will also grow in the US to have this kind of content, because I personally believe that having the 2 platforms isn't going to run long term because of what Comcast is doing with Peacock, and then you've got HBO Max, Paramount Plus, Netflix, Amazon. They're all offering everything together, and then Disney have kind of gone, yeah, we want you to pay for 2 or 3 different services. I also don't think it's strong enough, and I think you're going to see a massive shift eventually with you can see it already in the first few days of how much people are watching on Disney Plus that's from Star, and I think it's going to have a big impact. But that was a kind of a question I wanted to jump in and just kind of talk about. So hello to Amit for joining in. So let's jump now into some of the questions from our patrons and YouTube channel members. So up first, Khalid asked, is there a possibility for Dragon Ball, Battle of Gods, Resurrection F, and DBS Broly appearing on Disney Plus down the road, considering that 20th Century Studios distributed all 3 of those films and Disney owns the future distribution rights for the Dragon Ball films? And I did actually had a look at these ones, because I've never really watched Dragon Ball Z, or Z, however you want to pronounce it. It looks like some of them have been sold to Funimation in the US and Canada for distribution, so that might be an issue going forward. There's already one of the Dragon Ball movies already on Disney Plus on Star, so I very easily could see them adding it all. They're not going to add everything at once. They're going to slowly drip feed things out. But yeah, if they own the distribution rights, they can do something. There might be, sometimes they might be going, we actually can make more money selling it to, the anime streaming services. They might do things like that. But yeah, essentially there is no reason why not. Next question came from Gavin is, will the new season of Mayans MC come to Star? Eventually it will come. The problem is with some of the shows is they are already kind of linked up with existing contracts. For example, here in the UK, the BBC already had a deal with FX shows, including Mayans. So that's why it isn't coming in straight away, is because of that problem. So that is just something to be aware of. Some of it is existing deals. Once they expire, then they'll be coming over. And obviously in the long run, that's it. But we're really kind of seeing, I think, with Star, much more of a problem with existing contracts. There is a lot more of a change between all of the countries. And yeah, something that we just never really saw so much before. Okay, let's have a look again at another question from Gavin. So this one is, with the announcement related to Paramount Plus, do you think you will see the launch in the UK later this year, or will we have to wait for HBO Max? Now, I actually also want to bring up, there was another question here, and here we go, and just have a look, see where we can find it. Here we go. So Yusuf asked, do you know whether Paramount Plus will launch in the UK, or do you think it will continue to license out their content in the UK like they have done with SpongeBob in the past, which was released on Netflix but would now become a Paramount Plus? I knew there was two questions. So the thing is with Paramount Plus is it's not launching in the UK, and the thing is over here we're in a bit of a different situation because Viacom owns Channel 5, they own the Cartoon Network, NTV, all the rest of it. So Channel 5 already have got their own on-demand system, and they're part of BritBox as well. So suddenly now that and they've also got lots of deals in place with Now TV. So they're probably in a situation where they've got to work out what they want to do here, whether or not sort of Channel 5 becomes the Paramount Plus platform. They've got to decide what to do with all of these different platforms. So I think that is why, and it also depends on what they've got in place with Sky for Now TV, etc. So I think it will come here eventually. I think we're going to end up with that situation where, you know, you are going to see a much clearer line between these big corporations and less collaboration. But like with HBO Max, some deals have been done. They're testing the waters. They still like the money coming in at the minute. And then once they find out that they can make their own money, that's when they'll do something about it. I think Paramount Plus will come eventually. It's just, again, different contracts and stuff in place. Moving on from there, Joseph asks, will Firefly be on Star? Well, with Firefly now being on Star, could Serenity, the Firefly film, be on Star because it was distributed by Universal? And could Disney Plus buy its rights too, like they did with Clouds, as it would make sense as it's part of Firefly? So, as far as this goes, it is, it wouldn't be on there because they don't have the actual rights to put it on there. So they would have to deal with Universal. They could do that if they feel there was a big enough demand for it. And, they could make a deal and go, okay, how much can we have, shared rights, because they'll want it for Peacock and Now and all the rest of it. So there is a very possibility, but I think it's really going to depend on how much people are watching Firefly, and if they've got that new movie or series that they're going to do a reboot on, that might influence their idea of maybe seeing if they can license it. I wouldn't ever say no. I could see them doing a shared exclusive rather than doing it, a full exclusive, because Universal, as I said, want it for their own system. Joseph also asked, as part of the Proud Family, Louder and Prouder will drop onto season 2. Oh, sorry, here we go. Sorry, write that the whole game. As with the Proud Family, Louder and Prouder drop with the second season of the Proud Family drop in the UK as it's not titled. Okay, I think Joseph's just asking about the fact that the Proud Family season 2 is not available in the UK. We don't know when it will be arriving. We don't know when the new show will be arriving. And I honestly don't know when it will be. Bit of an odd thing that it's not already available, because I don't know why, but they could be holding on to it for a reason, or maybe they've just not acted. I don't know. I don't know why they do these things. I'm jumping into the chat. Hello to Joe. Thank you very much for becoming a silver member. And Yusuf just added on the chat, will The Walking Dead ever be coming to Disney Plus Star? It was going to be watched on Now TV, but I saw it's being removed tonight. As far as Walking Dead goes, I know I think it's in the Netherlands, it is available. And it's going to come down to the rights of each individual one. I didn't realise sort of Now TV. I'm just going to have a look. Now TV, Walking Dead, because essentially it is distributed by Fox all over the place. So I'm just looking here now on Now TV. So yeah, it's seasons 1 to 10 is streaming until the 28th of February. So you are right. It's very, very possible that they haven't announced it, but sometimes they don't announce things in advance because this could be quite a big deal if they could get it on to Disney Plus pretty soon. In the UK, for example, when if that one can get in, that would be a big hit. So I'm just looking here, seeing who has got distribution. So yeah, syndication rights and internet. The thing is Entertainment One have See, it is difficult because it's gonna be hard to see how that one's gonna work with The Walking Dead. I guess we're gonna have to wait and see. It might make sense why I don't know if Disney can actually announce stuff when they're still on Now TV. They might be like restricted to doing that. Okay, so we got a question here. So Jason asked, will Comcast go ever in the way of Hulu? Could Hulu be shut down in the US and bring all of its content to Disney Plus? If so, could live TV come to international Disney Plus alongside TV? Right, I think you've got to split that down into live TV is a different kind of platform. I think Hulu probably will be able to carry on for a little bit longer, even as just a live TV service. I can't see them bringing live TV to Disney Plus anywhere. I don't think there's a need for it. I don't think they're going to want it. It's extra cost. There's just the concept of live TV is just dropping off, and people aren't going to do it. So I can't see them doing that. I think Hulu eventually will be brought out by Disney, so they can work out what they're doing with their licenses and stuff. I said before, I could easily see Hulu carrying on as like an extreme bundle with like a portal for other bits and pieces. You also get the live TV, and I could see them adding Disney Plus into it as a way of kind of carrying on with Hulu as a kind of a premium thing. But yeah, I don't think we're going to see live TV. Also, Joe has there been any update when American Horror Story will be coming? So there's the new show that FX are currently doing that they have confirmed that they have just said it'll be coming later this year. But as far as the original series coming on Disney Plus, I know it's available in some countries. I think it's Australia or Canada they've got it, but it's not yet over here. It's going to be down to Netflix. So a big hello as well to ET for joining. Make sure you phone home. I know it's bad. So the random movie fan asked, "Have you posted actually yet? Your question was coming up, so we'll do that one now anyway." So do you think Disney Plus will have local content exclusive in the US? No, because essentially most of the Disney Plus content is American made with American, so therefore it doesn't count as local. So you're not going to have the US getting its own local content because they can sell it everywhere else. They have said that they are going to be bringing some of the Star originals over to Hulu. So that will be something that will be happening. And I'm very much sure that any of, like, for example, the Australian, Canada, and British Disney Plus originals that they're going to be making to fill out the quota will probably end up being available everywhere. Canada's a bit different because they film so much up there already, like Flora and Ulysses is up there. Home Alone movie that they're making. So Canada's a little bit different, but I suspect they will use it because, there'll be no reason why not. I mean, why couldn't they put a British show on there? Okay, moving on to some other questions here. So Jason asks, if Disney does buy of Hulu, could they make all the Hulu originals Disney properties then, as they would? See, the problem is with the Hulu originals, they are not all made by Disney. And this is the big problem. Some of them are licensed. Some of them are brought for just US distribution rights. Some of them are made for other companies. Like Handmaid's Tale is made by MGM for Hulu. So they own the international rights. So even if Disney owned it, they wouldn't be able to show it everywhere. And so technically, if they've got the distribution rights, they could then maybe bring it into Disney Plus. Same thing with like a lot of the shows that we see with ABC and Freeform, they're actually made by other companies, and so it's all very, very complicated when you look at how all this works out. But not every Hulu original would be able to be international, and even in the United States, it might be a clause that that they're exclusive to Hulu. It's all very, very awkward because of how the whole Hulu thing got put together. Because essentially it was all these different companies coming together to try and combat Netflix, and they've all kind of fallen apart, and there's just lots of old contracts in there. So Yusuf asks, if Disney does buy out Comcast, do you see Hulu going global, or will Star be going global? Hulu will not. There is no point in them doing anything with Hulu once they've got it, because they've already done the Star launch. There's no point having that second brand, and I think that's the trouble. I think once Disney does buy out Hulu, they then can decide what they want to do with it. But I'm still not convinced. And I'm even more so convinced since Star launched that Disney Plus needs this mature content more than most people realize. I think it's going to be a big fight with HBO and Netflix. They've done an amazing job getting there, but there's going to be some problems when adults start realizing there's nothing. And yeah, I think we are going to see a big shift in terms of what's available. I think the mature content being added might not necessarily arrive in America just as quickly as it did everywhere else because they've got Hulu, but they're in this like weird thing of counting down the clock until they can sort out what they're doing. But I could see Hulu carrying on as some kind of special live service with, ads and, maybe like a tiered version with Disney. I don't know. It's very, very awkward of what they're going to do with it. But Star really has kind of shown me that they are going to have to do something different with it. Johnny T asks, do you think there'll be more anime properties could be added to Star on Disney Plus UK in the future, as Disney have created some anime projects in the past? I mean, they're working on the new Star Wars anime show. I think Disney are going to be out now looking to buy up as much content as possible from as many places as possible. But obviously as well, there are some things like Crunchyroll that's what they're specialists in. So anime is always a bit tricky. I know Hulu's got a really good amount of it. So if they're seeing the data coming in from that could influence them. But I think they're in this line of how much do they want to invest in licensed content compared to buying, making their own stuff and owning it. Let's jump back into the questions. Okay. So Sarah asked, do you ever watch the Disney Mice music stories? And if so, did you think of it? No, I haven't watched it yet. I haven't watched that one yet. Jumping in some other questions. So Mick asked, will Star be updated on Tuesday or to be kept separate from the kids brand? Because I'd like to see what's new to them. So we have, as we know, everything's now coming to Disney Plus still on the Fridays, and Star, all the content arrives on Fridays at the same time. All they're doing on like the social media accounts is just showing that it's got a little Star logo next to it. I think we're in that like weird zone right now where they're just trying to convince people what this thing is and trying to get it through to people. In a few months' time, no one will even batter an eyelid because it will just be how it is. Looking at what people are watching on the trending tab right now on Disney Plus, it's showing that people are watching in droves. I mean, yeah, a massive shift. Jumping back into the live chat, so we've got Yusuf asks, what does the latest UK lockdown mean for future Disney films releasing like Marvel's Black Widow and Disney's Cruella? I think you had a question in the screen as well. So as far as like the UK goes, cinemas I don't think can open now till like mid-May. So Black Widow can't open up in cinemas over here. So that's going to have an issue going forward. After that, cinemas can open. So Cruella could open in cinemas here. I suspect it depends. Again, they might be just holding off to find out what's happening. I think we are going to see a big shift for the next few months with Disney kind of committing to doing these premiere access. The big thing is going to be next week with Raya. What happens when they see that weekend numbers for Raya? That is going to be the kind of the jumping in point of what's going on there. It will be the it will be the jumping in point will be whether or not Raya does well on this weekend. If that does good over the next week, that's when they're going to pull the trigger. They're going to wait and see how Raya does because they've only really got Mulan's data. So I think they will make a decision after they've seen the data coming in from Raya. Black Widow, they're in a situation they can't keep moving stuff because of all the TV shows, and that's why we've kind of got that issue going forward. But I fully suspect if you looked at like the Cruella trailer, they didn't mention theaters only. They didn't mention it. We also didn't get any like even with Luca, they didn't say cinemas only. They just said this summer. They didn't give a real proper date. Things are very fluid. I think everything's just going to keep shifting around. Let's have a look here. So the random movie fan asked about the local quota. So we've done that one, and we've done that question there. So Bad Dog Gamer asks, what is my favourite Star original so far? Well, obviously we've got 4. We've got Hellstrom, Big Sky, Love Victor, and Soul Opposites. I haven't watched Hellstrom yet. I did actually point it out to my wife earlier today that I want to watch that one. We'll watch that one later on this week. It wasn't on the top priority because I know it's cancelled. I'm a little bit along the lines of I can't really. It's like it's the end of the Marvel stuff. It's cancelled. It's not a major thing that I'm really looking forward to. So I am going to watch it, but I don't feel like there's any urgency. It's been out for months. So and So I will watch it. I am enjoying Love Victor, but it's kind of... I would say that's probably third space. I'm really enjoying Big Sky. It's a show that me and my wife can watch together. And probably that, if I was to pick one, that would probably be the one that I would be going for. But I do think Solar Opposites is really well done. I'm really impressed with that one. I'm finding it a lot more funny than I thought it was. I wasn't too sure. Let's jump now into some of the chat again. So Joe said, why did Disney change their launch list in the UK so that free billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri and Agoraphobia were meant to come at launch? There was a lot of stuff that was changing. Things were flipping and changing all the time. Why they did it, I don't know. There could be some last minute licensing issues. There could be some technical issues, all kinds of things. But you're right about free Ebbing. I did actually want to watch that one because it's something I've not seen. But I think there were some last minute issues that we maybe aren't aware of. They had to work out. So the random movie fan asked, maybe Disney could have some 1 to 2 rated R movies on Disney. I don't think they're going to go down the R rated on Disney Plus just yet. I think they're going to use that parental controls to test maybe some 14 stuff a little bit more. Start slow. I think America's got a very different situation than for us everywhere else. Johnny T asked, do you think horror and adult animation will become the popular category on Disney Plus in the future? Do you think the more horror originals will land on Disney Plus in the future? I think horror is really going to depend on what FX are making. That'll be the key thing. It's whatever FX are making will be that very popular. So horror is obviously going to be a thing that teenagers lean into. The whole thing with vampires. It's really going to depend on what FX are making. That's going to be their direction. So we're going to be getting all the FX originals of the new ones, and then some of the old ones we're going to have to wait a little bit longer due to existing deals. Adult comedy like American Dad, Family Guy, Futurama, I think they're going to be mainstream. You can already see it with the trending chart over the last couple of days. I mean, they are just dominating the top end because you can watch them in droves and they're bingeable, and you've got 18, 19, 16, 18 seasons of these things. I found myself, Family Guy, just put on like the latest season. I've decided to do it that way around with Family Guy and start new and go backwards. Rather than start, because I did that with Simpsons. I started way back at the beginning, and I've seen these loads of times. I should have started on like season 30 or season 31 and started going that way. But yeah, adult animation are going to be massive for Disney Plus. They're going to be huge drawers in. Big hello to Red Raven. Thank you very much for becoming a silver member again. Yusuf, I did a poll on Riot in the Facebook group chat where I believe most have said they will be watching in cinemas or not getting it at all. I think with Riot, it's a very tricky one. Here in the UK, we don't have the choice about cinema. You can't go see it there. I think the thing is with Premier Access is a different way of watching movies. And if you are a single person on your own, Premier Access is very expensive. If you're a couple, it might be all right. If you're a family, it's cheaper to do it. And Raya is a family movie, so it actually makes more sense. But there are also the other side of things. If you're a family, you might then look at it and go, I'm not spending that much amount of money on a movie to rent, or we can rent something else, we can watch something, you could have a streaming service all month for the same price. So yeah, I do think it's all about setting up this tone of what is a Premier Access and what people are willing to pay, what people are willing to do. I'll be honest, had Raya been made by DreamWorks and it was released next week, I probably wouldn't have bothered with it. I'm hearing lots of good things about it. So I'm planning on watching it next week, but that's because obviously with the podcast and everything, watch it. But I am looking forward to it. It's very good. So Johnny T said he's only seen one episode of Love Victor and enjoyed it. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to watching some future episodes and stuff. I watch the whole season. I enjoyed the first 3 episodes I've seen so far. Joe asked, has Disney announced if they're going to have Grownish season 1 and 2 and season 3 every Friday? My guess is we will probably end up getting season 3 weekly, and then season 1 and 2 will just drop at that point, all on the same. That's my gut. I mean, they have to kind of make 1 and 2 available if they're putting 3 on there. And obviously we've got season 4 coming later. So I don't know why they're doing it like this. I think they're just holding out to, I don't know, it's really weird with how the Star originals have already kind of gone and wobble on the first month of different countries. It's very strange. So Jason asks, Disney Plus has the option with the Simpsons that you could change the ratio, but since Star launch, some old shows with black bars have been stretched out. Could we see an update? Right, I think with the thing is with Star is since it launched, what they did is they really, like, I would almost say, like, they stripped back a lot of the options, lots of extras, lots of menus, lots of things on the front page to reduce the pull on the server. I think they wanted to make sure it was stable. They did the same when Disney Plus launched way back about 18 months ago in the US. They really, a lot of the things that we're used to weren't there, and they slowly drip feeded them in. I think with Star, they decided to go in, take out a load of menus, a load of options, make sure it's working, and then from there slowly introduce stuff as they, because they didn't know what the workload was going to be in. So yeah, I think they're all going to be, it's all be coming back eventually, but I think they were being a bit careful to make sure they, because it would have been a PR nightmare if Disney Plus had gone down with the Star launch. They needed to make sure it was working. So I think it will be coming soon. Johnny T asks, do you think there'll be any more titles could land on Disney Plus in the future or Star? Do you think any more titles could land on Disney? They are releasing stuff on Star pretty much every week. We're going to see a constant rollout of how things arrive on Disney Plus. We're going to see bits and pieces. Pretty much, I think it'll be at least 1, 2, 3 things a week. Okay, so we've done the Paramount question. We've done that one. Okay, so Johnny T asks, do you think there'll be any more older FX properties from the 30s, 40s, and 50s will be added to the Star category at a later date in the UK, or the more recent properties from... They are going to be rolling out stuff as the deals run out, because, for example, here in the UK, some things are on Now TV, and we're just going to have to wait. We're going to see this drip feed effect. They've said that they want to get 1,000 titles onto Disney Plus Star within the first year. Now, as far as UK goes, I think we got about 350, 400 titles. Canada and Australia were up like the 500-600. So there was a big... They've still got, I think, 400 titles to add, even just in like Canada and Australia. So we're going to see loads more coming in. I think March's was a little bit light, but I wouldn't be at all surprised if they held a little bit. They were like, we're not putting them too much on. You've already got 400 titles. Just, you can use that for a bit. Okay, so here we're looking at the chats. So Red Raven says he's loving Hellstrom and also Solar Opposites. Yusuf said he wasn't a fan of Hellstrom. Love Blue Sky and love Victor. Love Simon. Yeah, I want to see Love Simon. I've kind of done it the wrong way around. I'm watching them backwards. So Joe asked, Family Guy is probably going to be the one big thing I've been binging. I think the series on Star is great, but the movies could be better. I can't wait to see what it looks like at the end of the year. I think we're going to see a big change. There's a lot of the newer movies that are missing as well, especially here in the UK. And I think it's all just down to Sky. We're just going to have to wait for that deal to run out. And then also the cinemas to get back in line and the new movies to start rolling, because things like Nomadland, I'm hoping to see what happens with that one. So Aimer asks, will Disney Plus arrive in Turkey? I hope so. I mean, they have said they're planning on launching in more European countries later. Whether or not Turkey comes under that, or whether that comes under the Middle East, I don't know how that works. It's always that weird thing, obviously, with like Istanbul being on the border there. But I don't know. I hope it arrives soon everywhere. I wouldn't be at all surprised if eventually it arrives somewhere. Hello to Nathan. Thank you very much for becoming a member. Again, thank you. If you've got any questions, feel free to jump into the chat. Okay, so Connor asked about the Just Beyond Disney Plus series. So this one was announced last May. It was originally supposed to come to Disney Plus in the autumn of this year, fall 2021. I suspect it probably has been a little bit delayed with COVID, but they've been very quiet about it. They've made no mention of it for quite a while. But that was the last update last year. But as we know, all things have kind of could be delayed. And hopefully we'll find out about that one pretty soon. So the Random Movie Fan asks, how is the Avengers, Captain America First Avenger and 4 coming to Disney Plus, even though Disney bought the rights to the movies from Paramount a long time ago? The big thing here is I suspect they were shared. They've probably got shared access. Epix is the reason why they're coming to Disney Plus. Epix have got the deal, which might have been something that was done before Paramount kind of did the deal with Disney. But yeah, so again, it all comes down to those contracts and stuff, which is a real pain. It's such an awkward thing to work out. So Nathan asked, Sofa Springs on Disney Plus UK. They've not mentioned Sofa Springs. I don't know why we didn't get it. I don't see. I know Australia got the same thing that the US did with getting episodes. We don't have the Disney Channel. Why is it not here? I really don't know. I wish it was. I wish it was in line with the US system. Yeah, it's so annoying. It's just so annoying, all this stuff, because sometimes you look and they're going, there was so much that was added onto Disney Plus, like not on the UK one last week, and Sofa Springs just feels like a natural fit. So Joe asks, what movies are you excited to see this year? Bearing in mind, hopefully everything goes according to plan with the releases. That's the key thing here. I'm really excited about the Jungle Cruise. I love The Rock, so I can't wait to see that one. All the Marvel movies, let's just put them out there. You know, you got Spider-Man. I'm really looking forward to Eternals, probably the most, because I don't know nothing about the characters. It's going to be something fresh, something new. Shang-Chi's the same. Those two movies probably are the ones I'm looking forward to because of that. Black Widow, I'm looking forward to it, but I wouldn't necessarily say I'm super excited about it, because it's Black Widow and we've seen it before, and I want to see it, but it's not anywhere near the same level. But I think Spider-Man is going to be so much fun. Like I love the Tom Holland version of him. I think it's such a great character. So Spider-Man is that one. There's so many other movies and stuff that they've pushed back. It's hard to. I'm trying to think of they've got so many different ones coming out, but the Jungle Cruise is probably the one from the Disney side. Obviously, we've got those Star Wars this year, but yeah, so that one's the one jumping in. Okay, let's jump back into some of the previous questions. So Ben asks, how likely do you think the Black Widow will premiere access after the announcement that the UK cinemas will be closed when it is released in the UK? Right, okay, so Black Widow, obviously here in the UK, cinemas are closed, so they're going to have to do something with it. Could they do premiere access here and not? Or are they more likely to bump it? That's the question. If they do premiere access everywhere, then I think we'll get it. But and I think people will pay it. And I think there's this kind of thing. I think everyone that's moaned about paying for Mulan and Raya, the amount of times the comment would be, well, if they do it with Black Widow, I do it without even thinking. It's like, yes, it's just the value of the movie. You feel different. I do think, and Black Widow come on, I'd buy it. I wouldn't even think twice about it. Yeah, it's funny because it was like with Wonder Woman. I was saying yesterday on the podcast, had that come out on Christmas Day here to purchase, I probably would have done it, but they waited so long I didn't do it. Yusuf said, Black Widow has been delayed and teased so many times. The hype for it is kind of, I do think the hype has died down, because I think no one is willing to get their hopes up that it's going to be released. I do think WandaVision has helped just in some ways distract everybody. Everyone's been distracted with WandaVision, and then we're going to be getting Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So therefore, we're getting this double helping, and we know it's coming. We can get excited. We can get invested. You know, we know with WandaVision, we've had like 8 episodes, and then we got this episode. And so I think everyone's like with Black Widow going, yeah, well, when you confirm it. Like I said, wait until after Raya. Okay, let's have a look here at the questions. I think we have actually, so there we go. So that's all the ones that usually what happens with patrons and YouTube channel members. I put up the question earlier in the week and get them all to put in their questions earlier on. So we've always got some questions to go through, though, because with the live chat, I didn't know how it was going to work. So here we go. Let's jump in here. So we'll do about another 4 minutes before I'll wrap this one up. So we'll end it at there. So Johnny T asks, what type of content do you think we'll get from Kardashians on Star? Will it be a reality TV show, documentary, factual program, or is it not yet? I imagine it's going to be keeping up with the Kardashians, just with Hulu making it. I don't think there'll be any different. I don't think there'll be any documentary. I just think it'll be just more of them. My wife's been a big fan of that show for years. She kind of drifts in and out of it. But that's going to be a big series. It'll be a big series for Disney Plus when that one arrives internationally. Joe also asks, I wonder why they did not add the second movie on Star, since it's currently not streaming anywhere else in the UK since it came off Now TV in January. They could be waiting until they're all available, or I don't know. It's very strange. I mean, it depends on how there might be a contract with Now of how quickly things can be used up. Where we think, well, it leaves today, it can go on to Disney Plus tomorrow. It might not be that case. There might be a 30-day clause, a 90-day clause. They can't shift it, or they can't advertise it until it's left. That could be another reason for it as well. So all these contracts are so different because there's so many different companies involved. I mean, you just look here in the US, you've got HBO, then you've got Stars over here. Then in the UK, you've got the BBC, you've got Channel 4, you've got Sky. Loads of different contracts and stuff, and why all that works out. Okay, so any other questions on the live chat? But so again, hopefully no technical issues. We seem to have had a good, we're still live stream is healthy. Loads of people joining in, loads of people coming in, which is always great. It's always nice to see. And hopefully this whole thing with live chat seems to be working very well. We've been doing it 3-4 weeks now, and it seems to be doing well. The time slot I think a lot better for a lot of people. It's a bit later for UK. I also had a question here come in on Joseph on the chat. So he's put in with Paramount Plus now doing a 40-day cinema release on Disney Plus Premier Access to come within 2 months. I don't think Paramount Plus will. Well, sorry, let's reshift that. I think Disney are going to keep to that 3-month window. I think that's and I think that's a good window. I think 3 months is enough. But now with Universal putting things onto digital 17 days, HBO Max are doing their thing with 30 days, but then it comes off and it goes back on. I don't think 90 days is bad. I think Disney still want to keep people at the cinema, so that's the problem. They're going to keep. I think 90 days great. I mean, when we were thinking with some of the movies before COVID, we were looking at maybe 6 to 8 months between the cinema release and Disney Plus. So if we get it down to 90 days, that's super fast. So that's how I look at it with that one. So here we go. So Yusuf asks, with Paramount Plus launching in the US, do you think that Disney Plus might lose some members, as that also has kids content for Nick and adult content like? See, this is going to be this constant thing of the pull and pull. I think Nickelodeon has a lot of kids content, but I don't think it's as powerful maybe as the Disney content. So I think that will be fine. But they will lose people. Disney are going to shift over and out. If a kid really likes everything on Netflix, on Nickelodeon, but doesn't like all the stuff on Disney, the parents will flip. I do think Star is the way of keeping people more engaged, and I think Disney are going to look into that. Red Raven said, thank you very much for doing the stream. Thank you very much. Also, Joe said, thank you very much. Really helpful when it comes to Disney Plus news. So I do try to be helpful. Joshua asked, any National Geographic coming to Disney Plus in the next few months? Right, as far as National Geographic, we've got Own the Room, which is a new Disney Plus original movie coming on March the 12th. We also have the Secrets of the Whales documentary coming on Earth Day. I think that's the 22nd, if I can recall correctly. So that's good. There'll also be some other shows dropping in. I think we're going to see a big shift. I think once we see with Gordon Ramsay's Uncharted Season 3 in the US, when that starts dropping in. Again, here in the UK, the stuff arrives a little bit later because of Now TV. They've been very quiet. There's a lot of shows they've announced coming up, like Limitless. We've also got the Will Smith show. The thing is, when they did that TCA event earlier this week, I don't know if the National Geographic have done their one yet, but I suspect that could be coming up at any day soon. And that's actually just caught my attention now. The TCA press event, winter. National Geographic have already kind of done theirs. So they did theirs a couple of weeks ago. So I think there is a lot to come. I just don't think they've announced a huge amount coming forward, because ultimately it doesn't really kind of jump in. It doesn't pull people in, National Geographic content. So Johnny T asked, do you think there'll be more ESPN programming added to Star? As we already got several. I think anything that does come up, we will get it. I don't think until it's the only real way of them doing it. They might as well use it. They've got access. I haven't got around to watching that Ric Flair one, but the rest of it I probably wouldn't bother. But that reminds me, I do need to do that a little bit more. I need to look a little bit more into what's going on with those ESPN documentaries, or what ones are coming up, because I don't really pay any attention to them, because I've always been ESPN, and I completely kind of neglected the idea that some of them are coming to Star. So I'm going to need to pop that in the notebook for a little bit of research this week. So Jason asks, with so many studios creating streaming service, a lot of wallets are starting to be stretched. Could we see some studios teaming up for bundle deals to help people out? I doubt it. They're going to be all out trying to outcut each other, trying to make it as good as they possibly can for themselves. I don't think we could see some I mean, there's been a lot of talk of Comcast and HBO kind of partnering up and becoming one unit and basically buying them out. I can't see it happening. I think what you're going to start seeing is you're going to start seeing them pulling in smaller companies. I think all the little ones, all the little streaming services. You look at what happened recently with the WWE Network. It got swallowed up by Peacock. I think you're going to start seeing that, where all those little add-ons are all going to start. I mean, I know when you go into like Amazon over here, Amazon Prime, and you see all these little add-ons like £4 a month and £5 a month, they ain't going to survive. There's not enough money for everyone to do this. So yeah, Yusuf adds, I recently got Now TV and I've seen a lot of the content from Fox, MD, Marvel and Disney will be leaving in the next a lot of the stuff from Sky is all leaving, and that's going to be a minute. Red Raven says, we don't have any of the ESPN documentaries in Canada. Would love to watch the Ric Flair one. Yeah, I didn't even realise they didn't get it. The Star launch, when you see like 500 titles, it's actually quite... And then Europe had 500, and then Australia had 500. So you're looking at like 1,500 things. It's hard to pick out what was actually coming in. But so there, yeah, it was. It'll be interesting to see how that works. It depends whether they air in Canada. Then are they available on another network? Because I didn't think ESPN is in there. Joseph also asked, will Discovery Plus be on Disney Plus if that service fails? If Discovery Plus doesn't survive, I could see A&E, which is half owned by Disney, then licensing their stuff to Disney. I think they've maybe licensed it out to make sure they've got enough money, or to keep money rolling in. And maybe not. It depends on what that company was doing. But there's a big. I never quite understood why Discovery did that. I mean, why Disney rented out all their money? I think it was, again, they just wanted to make sure the money was coming in. And right, so this is the final question from Johnny T. Do you think that Kingdom Hearts could get its own franchise universe on Disney Plus? There's been rumours of a Kingdom Hearts show coming to Disney Plus, an animated one. So I hope so. I think it would make a lot more sense. I'm just going to point here. I've got my Heartless, my little Heartless figure here. I got my I've got like a couple of pop vinyls and stuff here from Kingdom. So I've played and completed pretty much all of the Kingdom Hearts games. So I am a Kingdom Hearts fan. So I would love to see it, but I would like them to reboot it from scratch and to be see, Joseph just said, didn't Disney have to sell all of A&E Europe to get through? Yeah, they did have to sell the Fox, some of it. So this again might be the issue. They couldn't have full international rights, so they decided to release out. I don't know. It's so complicated. It's so complicated how all this stuff works. It is. Trying to keep track of it is a nightmare, and especially with every country doing something different. Right, on that note, guys, thank you to everyone joining in on the chat. That was a really great chat, seeing so many members in there. That's probably our best amount of people in there, which is great. And also a big hello to all of our new members as well. This seems to be going very well, so I'll be back next week. Next week at the same time. So, thank you very much for watching, guys. Make sure you go check us out over at whatsondisneyplus.com. Make sure as well you can join our Facebook group. You can support us on Patreon or on the YouTube channel members. Though if you do it through YouTube channel members, you also get to do these live chats as well. So big thank you to everybody in the live chat. Big thank you to everyone, and I shall see you guys soon. Laters.